Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, Today the Hum Gamer is back with another mini review, and today we are talking about Techlandia. Now this is another one that I've been holding on to for a while in the perhaps misguided hopes of actually being able to play with 4 people, and I've come to the conclusion that it's just not gonna happen. So I'm moving forward and doing a mini review here. So like I said, I've had it for a while and played it through several times over the past, well, several months really. And so what Techlandia is it is a 1 to 4 player game where you are playing members of the media, but not like a real member of the media. You know, you're not CNN or even like Comedy Central or something like that. No, you are an independent blogger or a Twitter journalist or whatever. I'm not degrading those people who make that their job, but hopefully you get the idea. And in this world there is the big company, and there's a big new cell phone release, and you're trying to get into this media release party, and if you can only get down into the basement auditorium where the big release is, the announcement's going to happen, you will be able to prove that really the person who leads this phone company is a worshiper of Cthulhu or something like that. You're trying to stop it. And you have a timer, and either you've gotten the 4 parts of the QR code and the decoders to make sure you have the QR code put together right and gotten down into the basement auditorium before the clock runs out, or you have not. Pretty simple as far as that goes. And what's going to happen is each turn you're going to have 2 actions. An action is going to be you're going to move and you'll investigate. And you might, or you might fight a cultist that's there. Or you might scan your QR code. That's pretty much it. And you have combat's done very simply with the roll of a die, and then you mitigate the numbers that you have based on your skills and the enemy skills, and then the gear cards that you have. All pretty simple. So what do I like about this game? So first of all, I like kind of the idea behind this game. I do like this idea of a very simple little adventure dungeon crawl, not really dungeon crawl because it's like tiles you're moving around to, game that you're playing. It's got a very simple goal. It's very simple to play, not a lot of rules. And as always, I do appreciate that. It doesn't take up a ton of space. Looks like a small box. All of that I do like. And I also do appreciate the kind of the theme behind it. It is very tongue-in-cheek, this idea that, you know, the big business is actually what's bringing down the world, and clearly the Jeff Bezos style person has clearly only got all this money because he's worshiping Cthulhu or whatever. And so all of that is fun. It's a fun idea, and they do bring it out. There's a lot of jokes and stuff written onto the cards and so on, and a lot of things that are kind of sending up this idea of, you know, technology and kind of what people do for technology. And one of, like, there's event cards that says, oh, your phone battery died. You would think $1,000 phone would have more than a 2-hour battery. You know, just all these kind of things that we're used to and the gripes that we have. And so it does kind of bring those things up in a way that I think will be for many people satisfying. And I also like the way the gear cards work. See, there's all these gear cards that you're going to be getting, and overall there's a ton of stuff that they can do, and it's pretty easy to get gear cards. You just go to the press room, you can get more gear cards, lickety split, you're done. But none of the abilities are hugely powerful, which I think is something that works to the benefit of this game. Now there are a few that to me I find very powerful. For example, there's one that is defeat the enemy, take their decoder. Well, to me that's really powerful, but for the most part there's not a ton that are very powerful to me, and I think that works. It helps to develop a strategy. It's not just going to go mill that gear deck until you get these super powerful things. There's not that many of them, so I do appreciate that. And as I said, it's a fast game. There's not a lot of time to be stopping and thinking. It's pretty simple overall. So what are my quibbles with the game? And I do have a couple. The first one is, it's clear that this was a Kickstarter game that met its funding goal, but didn't blow past it. I mean, maybe it did. That's just my guess, because there is almost no unique art in the game. All the gear cards look the same. all the enemy cards look the same. Almost all the cards, they look the same. And to me, that's a little bit of a letdown. And there's also, along with it, there's not a ton of replay value here. I mean, you're doing the same story over and over. You're drawing the events, but it's the same 5 or whatever events over and over and over. So the more you play, the less engaging that is going to be. And then the next part of it for me is just the way the characters in the combat works. It's so simplified that for me, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that if I go into combat with the cultist, I look, if I have the exact same skill as they have, I get a +1 on my die roll. Top corner tells you what roll you need to get, and you roll it, that's it, done. And then along with that, the same thing when you're exploring a room, there's no skill check, there's nothing like that. It's literally you draw the next card on the thing. It tells you what penalty or benefit you're going to get, and it either says success or failure. And it just boils down to, it's a 50-50 draw. That's it. 5 cards are success, 5 cards are failure. And again, that's okay for a game if you're just going to play once or twice, and it's just, you know, you're going to throw it out on the coffee table at night. But it's just not a lot of meat to it. And so for me, I found that a little bit lacking. And with all that said, it does sound like I'm pretty down on this game. I'm not down on this game. I'm just trying to paint a picture to allow me to say that this is a game that has an interesting theme. It's easy to play. It's fast to play. It does some interesting things with the way you use your actions and the way the gear mitigates things. All of that I think is actually relatively clever and pretty simple, but because of the lack of depth in the way the combat works, the lack of depth in the way that you are investigating rooms and having success or failure, all those things, because of that, the replay value is just not that high. It's not a game that I feel like you're going to have come back to the table over and over and over again, but at the same time, it's not a filler game. It's longer than that. So it puts this game in an odd spot, somewhere between a filler game and a light dungeon crawl. There you have it, folks. That is Techlandia. This is a game that I think is a niche game. I think if you are into this world and you are kind of in the know about all the kind of inside jokes that are going to be on the cards, and you're just looking for something that you can just kind of throw out there, you can play while you're having a conversation and, you know, a drink or snacks or whatever, then this might be something that is really interesting to you. But if you're looking for a deep dungeon crawler with interesting combat and tactical this and that, this is not it. You're not going to find it there, nor is this a game with a ton of replay value. But it's a small box, it's not very expensive, so this could be worth taking a flyer on if that's the type of thing that you're looking for. So there you have it, folks. That is Techlandia. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.